Deadly day at the park. An employee killed operating a ride. Disaster Diaries. A woman was murdered at Adventureland Amusement Park in Farmingdale, New York, when she was catapulted from a spinning ride and sent smashing into a car in a nearby parking lot 2 days after a teenager was run over as he operated a roller coaster there. To know more about this tragic event, continue watching the video. For more content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Disaster Diaries. And also, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified whenever new videos are posted. At Long Island's Adventureland Amusement Park, a woman tumbled from a ride so high and far that she cleared the park's perimeter fence and landed on a vehicle in the parking lot. The state commission that inspects its rides said the Farmingdale Amusement Park had a nearly spotless safety record and had not had any fatalities in 43 years. A park employee was killed on a kiddie roller coaster called Ladybug on Tuesday night while operating on it. And now a 45-year-old woman who has not been named has been hurled from the top scan, where riders perch atop what appear to be windmill blades. Josh Lieutenant, a 17-year-old bystander, claimed the ride was moving and she went straight up. It's likely that her seatbelt wasn't fastened. She emerged abruptly in midair. When the ride's operator noticed the accident, he quickly halted the ride. She went over a 20 to 25-foot high wall. We are unable to speculate as to how high she went, according to Suffolk Police Detective Lieutenant Jack Fitzpatrick. On the opposite side of the park's perimeter fence, a Nissan Altima's windshield caught the woman as she plummeted to the ground. The Middle Island Hospital pronounced her deceased. Within 10 feet of the top scan, the Nissan Altima was parked. The woman had to get through the fence before the kiddie railway lines in Adventureland in order to get it. According to Fitzpatrick, harnesses keep top scan riders seated in their rotating seats. The harness system's effectiveness was being tested by the police. According to Lieutenant, the top scan is not for the weak of heart. Your whole body shakes. You feel lightheaded when you exit the ride, he said. You've got a good headache. In terms of safety, Adventureland has a very good record, according to Robert Lilpop, a spokesman for the State Department of Labor, which oversees amusement park inspections. A visitor fell off a water ride in 2001, which was the park's most recent mishap, according to Lilpop. That biker didn't sustain any major injuries. Lilpop claimed that earlier that year, all of Adventureland's rides had undergone inspection. Barbara Brady, a 45-year-old lady, was one of many passengers on the top scan, a ride with 5 rows of seats that wind and ascend to heights of more than 40 feet. At the beginning of the ride, Miss Brady was secured in a harness, according to the police, but the harness apparently gave way. She was propelled off the ride over a 20-foot wall and into a car's windshield in a parking lot in Adventureland about 15 feet behind the attraction. Detective Lieutenant Jack Fitzpatrick, head of the homicide team for the Suffolk County Police Department, claimed that her body struck the ground after hitting the vehicle and then rebounding off of it. According to Lieutenant Fitzpatrick, the ride features an internal system that stops it from beginning unless each harness is fashioned. Several witnesses to the tragedy rushed to Miss Brady's aid, but they were unable to save her. When paramedics arrived a short time later, Miss Brady, who resided at the Central Manor Home for Adults in Far Rockaway, Queens, and was thought to have a mental impairment, was already dead. Paul Gentile, the operations manager at the park, said he was unsure if the ride had broken down, but added that they were working with the authorities. He extended his heartfelt condolences to the family of the guest. The 2 Adventureland fatalities occurred close to the conclusion of an extraordinarily dangerous summer for people visiting amusement parks in New York. Since the beginning of August, there have been at least 3 accidents that have resulted in deaths, making a total of 4 deaths. A day after being struck by a car on the Ladybug, a kiddie roller coaster, the first Adventureland victim, 18-year-old Stephen Gary, who had worked there all summer, passed away from internal injuries. The reason Mr. Gary was standing on the railway when he was struck is unknown, according to the investigators. An accident involving a moving belt on Ye Old Mill boat ride resulted in the death of a 7-year-old boy on August 3rd at the Playland Amusement Park in Rye. After being closed for inspections for a month, that park is set to return the following Saturday. The kid may have jumped out of his seat immediately after his boat entered a tunnel, according to state officials who declared the boy's death an accident. A worker at the Syracuse, New York State Fair died while installing the Midway rides. Miss Brady passed away at Adventureland, although the specifics of her death are unclear. The wheel has a number of really large spokes. A capsule with around 5 seats that have tall backs and safety straps that resemble armrests and are secured over a rider's lap is located at the end of each spoke. Miss Brady's seat was the second from the center, and it was unclear why the restraint failed to keep her in place. She did nothing unusual during the voyage, according to witnesses who testified to the police. Investigators took the ride apart to examine it more closely. Miss Brady, who resided in a Far Rockaway, Queens group home, went to the park with 30 participants from the day program for people with mental problems called New Horizons Counseling Center. Miss Brady was described by Rosalie Jarab, a client at New Horizons, as being outgoing and enthusiastic about the excursion to the park that day. Although Detective Lieutenant Jack Fitzpatrick said the ride had no weight limit and he did not believe it was a contributing factor in the disaster, investigators claimed Miss Brady was a hefty woman weighing about 250 pounds. Investigators, however, would take into account whether her physical makeup played a role in the disaster. According to Mr. Lillop, the Topscan ride comprises 6 gondolas or arms, each with 5 seats, according to the manufacturer's website. According to the website, the gondolas are allowed to rotate freely using centrifugal force, and they can also perform a 360-degree loop. An individual who enjoyed extreme rides posted a review of Topscan on another website, describing the feeling of being repeatedly hurled around the top of the ride at speeds that ripped my hands from the grab rails. The event was described by the author John Phillips as serious, extreme, mind-blowing stuff. Without riding Tornado, Adventureland Resort's oldest and most iconic wooden roller coaster, your trip simply wouldn't be complete. Since almost 50 years ago, Tornado has given guests thrills fit for a family. So what do you guys think about this tragic accident? That's all for today. If you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications. Also, express your valuable thoughts in the comments section below. Until then, bye. Oh, by the way, also spend some time watching our other videos on this channel.